It's a taboo truth most won't admit, man. But what if I told you there's a raw, undeniable dynamic that makes some married women surprisingly vulnerable? We're talking about a situation where they become easy prey for the right kind of man. This isn't about casting judgment or saying all women are like this. No, this is about exposing the hidden psychological realities that most men, and even many husbands, are completely oblivious to. There are patterns, reasons, and psychological triggers at play here. We're diving deep into the female psyche, and how it interacts with the male psyche in ways that are often completely unspoken. It's about the subtle signals, unmet needs, and silent frustrations that can build up over time in a long-term relationship. So, if you're ready to challenge some preconceived notions and really understand what's going on beneath the surface of modern relationships, then stick around. What you learn here will change how you see relationships, attraction, and maybe even yourself forever. This is powerful stuff, and it's not for the faint of heart. Alright, so before we get into the real meat of this, let me just lay it out straight. If you're serious about truly understanding female psychology, not the surface-level garbage you read in some magazine, but the deep, often contradictory stuff, then you need to be here. If you're looking to elevate your own male psychology insights, then this channel, Male Psychology Insights, is where you need to plant your flag. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button right now. Seriously, do it. Because joining our community gives you access to the kind of knowledge that most people just don't have. You absolutely must watch this entire video, from start to finish. We're dissecting some highly sensitive, incredibly nuanced dynamics here. These aren't sound bites, these are complex ideas that build on each other. The journey starts now and every piece of it is crucial. Welcome back, Kings. Subscribe to the channel and leave a comment below. And this is Male Psychology Insights. Today, we are pulling back the curtain to look at a deeply misunderstood aspect of female psychology. We're talking about why some married women can become surprisingly receptive to external attention. This isn't a comfortable topic, I get it, but if we're afraid to look at it, how can we ever truly understand it? What we are doing is examining the intricate, often invisible, psychological and emotional mechanics at play. What happens inside a woman when she feels emotionally starved? What happens when a craving for excitement begins to gnaw at her? This is about understanding the profound psychological void that can open up within a person, within a relationship. We're going deep into the why, the underlying currents that most people are completely oblivious to. So, what's the number one thing that can push a married woman into this state of receptiveness? 9 times out of 10, man, it's a profound psychological void. We're talking about emotional starvation. And this is insidious because it's often invisible from the outside. The house might be nice, the kids might be great, the Instagram pictures might look perfect. But beneath that surface, she can be feeling deeply, chronically, emotionally starved. It's like living on a diet of dry crackers when your soul is craving a feast. This isn't always about big, dramatic fights or obvious abuse. Sometimes it's much quieter, much more subtle than that. It's often a slow erosion of connection, a gradual drifting apart. This creates a powerful inner vacuum, a kind of emotional black hole. Breaking the monotony, the lure of the new. Alright, so we've talked about the emotional void, that deep hunger for connection. But there's another powerful force at play here, man, and that's the craving for excitement and novelty. Human beings, we're wired for it to some extent. And marriage, especially after many years, can settle into a deep, comfortable, but ultimately soul-crushing routine. Predictability can be comforting, sure, but it can also be the death of passion. Women, just like men, desire spontaneity. They want to feel that spark, that thrill of the unexpected. When these elements are chronically absent from the marriage, a subtle craving for that spark begins to build. This is where the vulnerability really kicks in. The power of still waters, why stoic confidence captivates. Now this is where it gets really interesting, man. We've got the emotional void, we've got the craving for excitement. So, what kind of man actually breaks through? It's often the stoic, confident man. And this might seem counterintuitive to some guys who think you gotta be loud, flashy, or constantly performing to get attention. But no, in this specific dynamic it's often the opposite. It's the man who possesses a quiet strength, an unshakable self-possession. Think about the contrast. Her husband might be taking her for granted, distracted, disengaged. Then, along comes this other man who projects a strong, masculine frame, a sense of inner calm and control. The unintentional sabotage how husbands play a part. Look, we gotta be honest here, and this might sting for some guys listening, but it's a harsh truth. Many husbands unknowingly push their wives towards temptation. They basically roll out the red carpet for another man to walk in. Now, I'm not saying this is malicious. Most of the time it's not. It's usually a result of complacency, of comfort, of taking things and her for granted. It's the slow creep of neglect that can be just as damaging as outright hostility. Taking her for granted is a huge one, assuming she'll always be there no matter how little effort he puts in. Prioritizing work, hobbies, buddies, the TV, anything and everything over genuine quality connection with her. So, if these dynamics are at play, the emotional void, the craving for novelty, maybe a complacent husband, what are the actual observable warning signs? Recognizing these isn't about being a paranoid snoop, and it's definitely not about jumping to accusations. It's about being perceptive, about understanding her emotional state and her potential receptiveness. Look for changes in her online behavior. A sudden surge in social media activity, especially if she's posting more selfies or engaging more with new people, particularly men. Maybe she's suddenly very protective of her phone, or spends a lot more time on it, smiling or looking secretive. Then there are changes in her appearance, or her interests. A sudden renewed focus on her looks, new hairstyle, new wardrobe, hitting the gym more often. Or maybe she develops new interests, new hobbies, especially ones that take her out of the house and into new social circles. Complaining about her husband is a big one, even if it's done jokingly or framed as venting. So, what does all this mean for you? If you're a Sigma male, if you consider yourself a high-value man, or even if you're just a guy out there who genuinely wants to master female psychology on a much deeper, more authentic level, then understanding these hidden dynamics is absolutely crucial. It's like getting a pair of X-ray glasses that let you see beneath the surface of social interactions. It will open your eyes, man, to why so many women you might have previously thought were off-limits or happily married, sometimes stray, or at least become incredibly receptive to the right kind of attention. This knowledge is not about exploitation. If you're taking this information and thinking, great, now I have a roadmap to wreck homes, then you've completely missed the point. True power, true understanding comes with responsibility. This is about understanding human nature in all its messy, complicated glory. It's about navigating your own relationships and your interactions with all women with a profound sense of clarity and perception. When you understand the psychological voids, the craving for novelty, the impact of a husband's complacency, and the subtle signals of openness, you're no longer operating in the dark. You stop guessing and start seeing the patterns, the cause and effect. Alright, we've covered some intense ground today, man. We've pulled back the curtain on some stuff that most people don't even want to think about, let alone discuss openly. If you've stuck with me this far, it means you're serious. And if you gained valuable insights from this video, if you felt that aha moment, or even if it just made you think deeply, then you know what to do. If you haven't already, subscribe to Male Psychology Insights right now. Hit that button. Become part of a community of men who are committed to this kind of deep understanding. And here's a challenge for you. Drop a comment below. Tell me your biggest takeaway from this discussion. Let's get a real conversation going down there. Now before we wrap this up, there's one more critical piece we absolutely have to talk about. And that's the ethical dimension of this knowledge. Understanding these deep psychological dynamics, these vulnerabilities, it's like being handed a very powerful tool. And like any powerful tool, it can be used for good, or it can be used to cause a hell of a lot of damage. So let's be incredibly clear about the responsibility that comes with this. This knowledge is not a license to hunt. It's not a playbook for manipulation or seduction. True strength, true high-value status comes from integrity. From a desire to understand and navigate the world with honor. The responsible application of this knowledge is about awareness. It's about self-awareness first. Understanding your own motivations, your own desires, and ensuring you're acting from a place of respect and empathy. It's about awareness of others, recognizing the signs of emotional distress or unmet needs, not as an opportunity, but as a human reality. Alright man, that was a hell of a journey, wasn't it? We went deep. We poked at some uncomfortable truths. And if your brain isn't buzzing a little bit right now, if you're not questioning a few things you thought you knew, well, maybe you weren't paying attention because this stuff, this psychology, these dynamics between men and women, especially in the context of long-term relationships and the vulnerabilities that can arise, it's complex, it's not black and white. It's 1,000 shades of gray, and it's constantly shifting. But just because it's complicated doesn't mean we shouldn't try to understand it. The whole point of this, the reason I'm putting this out there through Male Psychology Insights, is to spark that deeper thought. It's about giving you the tools, the frameworks, the perspectives to find your own answers, to become a more aware, more perceptive individual.